This is Ask an Expat with Marcus and Matt from An Expat's Russia, where we answer your questions about what it's like to live, work, and travel in Russia. Hey everyone, in this video we're going to discuss how to study in Russia for free. When I went to Russia for the first time in 2005, I went through a study abroad program and I paid for my program. Now Matt, you were just telling me that you actually went through a program and you didn't pay a thing. Can you tell me how you did that?
Sure. So in 2016, I studied at the Higher School of Economics in Moscow. It's one of the top Russian universities, absolutely for free. So a lot of people don't know this, but the Russian government actually subsidizes 5 spots in every program. I think there might be some different regulations for the English-speaking programs because I studied in a Russian language master's program. So I studied private international law in Russian at the Higher School of Economics. And so, like I said, every year there's 5 positions in each program. So like private international law, there's like 30 students and 5 of them are potentially foreigners. And so in my class, there were 2 people from Kyrgyzstan, a girl from Moldova, and me. So there was actually one more space in the program that was completely free for a foreign student that wasn't just not used.
Okay, so how did you actually, how did you come across this opportunity?
So long story short, I worked with an American guy who studied law in Russia. He studied at St. Petersburg State University. We were working together and he told me, Matt, I was working at a law firm, and he said, Matt, if you want to be a lawyer, you need to get some sort of law degree. So I just started looking around in Russia, like, what are the options? And my Russian was good enough that I could study Russian law in Russian. And I just was looking on their websites. I actually first looked at MGMO, and I went actually to MGMO. I sat through like all kinds of these. They have this like day of the open doors is what it's called in Russian. День открытых дверей. So like prospective students can come in and listen and learn everything. And so I went to MGMO, I sat there and I listened to the whole spiel, but it wasn't free. And then they had the same thing at Higher School of Economics. And I said, well, I should have something to compare to because I was just going to go to MGMO. And so I went to the same day of open doors at Higher School of Economics. And at the end, they're like, do we have any foreign students? And I think I was the only one in the room. I raised my hand and I said, yeah, I'm from the United States. And again, this is all in Russian. And so then I went up and talked to the director and she's like, so Matt, we actually have scholarship programs for foreign students for these master programs. If you are interested in applying, they had like a piece of paper and it kind of told you how to find it on the website. And then if you go on the Russian language version of the website for the High School of Economics, you can scroll through and you can find the information on I can't exactly remember what it's called. They're basically like government subsidized spaces. Because in Russian universities, you have either paid spaces or free spaces. This is for Russians. And the free spaces are given to...
It's called budgetny or platny, right? So budget or paid.
Right. And so, they have that for the regular Russian students. So the top Russian students in high school or in their bachelor's degree, they get the free spots for Russians. But then separate from that, they have a completely different system for foreigners. And so I just was reading on their website and I said, well, the documents they're asking for are it's not that much. So I just submitted the documents. A few weeks later, I got a call from the dean and she was speaking English. And she's like, Matt, do you speak Russian? And I said, yes. And she says, okay, well, can we speak Russian so I understand if, you'll be able to handle the course. So we spoke Russian for 20 minutes and she says, Matt, we'd be delighted to have you join the program.
Great. So that was in 2016, not too long ago.
Yeah. And that all still exists.
You were prepared to pay for MGMO.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
And if I remember correctly, don't quote me here, but I think MGMO for the 2-year program was like $7,000 or $8,000 for masters in law.
Right. Okay. So there are a number of master's programs in English in Moscow, well, across Russia, but mostly in Moscow and St. Petersburg. And lots of them are kind of, trying more and more to get and recruit foreigners to study in those programs, but they're all paid. But the requirement here for the Russian programs is that you speak Russian.
Paid. Well, right. You have to speak Russian if you want to. So I want to make this distinction. There are also free places, at least at the Higher School of Economics, in the English programs as well. The problem is that the competition is extremely high because anyone in the world can come and study. So you have people, the top students from India, from China, from other countries in Europe. I mean, the Higher School of Economics is still, by even international standards, a well-regarded university. So the English programs, there's so much competition that the spaces are always filled. Now, if you're a very competitive candidate, I'm sure you can still get those free spaces. I mean, I don't want to say I wasn't a competitive candidate because I did very well in my bachelor's in the US. But again, I spoke Russian to the level that was needed to learn law. And there are very, very,
Right.
very few foreigners who have that.
Okay, so for to kind of have your choice of programs, really, if you speak Russian and you're a foreigner, that's the way to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I don't know if there's other universities that have these same programs. I can't imagine they don't, because all of the biggest Russian universities are always looking for more foreign students. And like I said, this is like a state-sponsored program. It wasn't like the university was paying for me. It was coming from, I think it was like the president of some decree of the president of Russia, who declared these spots free for foreigners. So it's clearly like a bigger initiative than just the Higher School of Economics.
Right. There's RUDN, there's RANHIX. I know different students, foreign students studying in Russian. Some of them paid for their schooling, and some of them got one of these budgetny places,
Right.
even though their Russian wasn't great. But a lot of students from African countries seem to go to these programs, but it's open to anyone. So
Right, exactly.
that's how you can potentially study in Russia for free. Or even if you don't know Russian, you can look at these other affordable programs and go to Russia and study for a very reasonable price. So
one other thing I wanted to mention actually real quick was that I think it was last year, the Russian government made it legal to work while you're a student. So if you go to Russia, you can get a degree for free. At the same time, you can get a job, and if you get a red diploma or honors diploma, you can even get a residence permit, which leads to citizenship in Russia. So if you're really interested in Russia as a long-term destination, studying for free can be an excellent start.
Previously, that you could work on your student visa at the university only, right?
Right. Now you can work anywhere.
Now you can work anywhere. So you don't have to get a work permit as a full-time student, but it has to be an accredited program. You have your limitations with that, but more and more universities are recruiting and building out these programs either in Russian or English for foreigners to study at. So, that's how you can study in Russia for free and potentially at a very reasonable cost. If you don't get into any of the free programs or you don't speak Russian, if you have any comments, comment in the section below. If you're a student in Russia, tell us what your experience was, and we'll see you in the next video.